Today I want to show you how I painted this model of She-Hulk by Abe 3D. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the process. So to get started, we needed to fill some seams here. I accidentally didn't print the solid legs, which are available with Abe. And so what I did was I filled in these seams with some UV curing putty, and then I used my UV lamp to cure that, and then used the Mr. Surfacer 500 to fill in any small defects, sanded it down, and then primed it, and you can see those seams are completely gone. Today's video is sponsored by Creality. Creality sent me this Halette X1 to give a try, and I really thought their standout build plate was very unique and it allowed me to actually pop the things off the plate right away. If you didn't check out my review video, I'll leave a link in the description below and you can check out Creality's Halette X1 bundle. So let's move on to the base. So I want to show you guys how to do some dry brushing. I'm using some Panzer Gray here and a makeup brush. I'm just loading it up on a paper towel and also unloading it on the paper towel at the same time to create this nice dark gray finish. Then I'm using this basalt gray to add a little bit of highlights. Still a dark gray because this is like an asphalt base. So again, I just loaded it up onto the makeup brush using a paper towel, offloaded any of the excess just so I have the paint only up inside the brush itself. And then I'm just going over all the raised edges to add a little bit of highlight. And there we have a nice simple base. If you're curious what color I use to prime this, it's Salamander Green from ColorForge. And here are the ionic colors that I'm going to be using to shade this green. Starting with the forest green, we're going to shade all of the recessed areas and folds of the skin here. So underneath all the muscles, around the knees, underneath her backside. Everywhere where we have a recessed area where shadows would be cast is where we're going to put this forest green. Any kind of edges too that we want to create around the legs here. We're also going to do the same thing on the remainder of her body, such as the arms, underneath the elbows. Now in this case it all depends on the orientation of your character, so also do like in between the crotch of the elbow there. We're going to go underneath her chin, behind her ears, the back of her neck with these shadows. We also want to get some areas like around the top of her head where her hair is, and again underneath the cheekbones a little bit. We're going to tone this down with highlights later, so it's okay if you get a little bit overspray at this point. But this is a really great beginner technique for using an airbrush. Up along the nose crease and also across the eyebrows and eyes, just adding some nice shadow underneath there, which again we're going to tone down later. And then here with her chest, we're going to go underneath her chest, all of the crevices underneath her neck, just getting all the contours of the body shaded because that helps to add definition. And there is just the first step with the base coat of primer and the shading put in place. And I'm using a PS275 from GSI Krios, which has a nice dual action trigger. And yeah, it's a little crusty. I got to clean it up every now and then. And I use isopropyl alcohol to clean my airbrushes. Here I'm using my Infinity as we're going to move on to some detail airbrushing, which has a smaller needle and nozzle in it. But you can see I just cleaned that out with some paper towels and a cotton swab and some alcohol, and it cleans right up. Now we're mixing up, I would call this like more of a mid-tone highlight. It's not our max highlight, but more of a mid to highlight tone. So kind of an in-between shade. And what I'm doing, you can see I'm holding the model in the opposite direction, so I'm kind of spraying from above and catching all the edges that are going to catch some light. But again, this is a mid-highlight tone, so we're not going like from a full zenithal spray pattern, which is from directly overhead or the zenith. What we're actually doing is spraying kind of from the front to just add some, again, mid-tone highlights. And here what we're trying to do is catch her cheekbones and her nose, which is where we know light is going to catch. Also up here on her forehead. And this is why we switched to the Infinity, because we can get these nice detailed sprays with not a lot of overspray because it's a tighter pattern. Here we're also going to do like her arms and her fingers. And again, make sure you pay attention to your renders or reference photos that you're using so you know where to place your highlights and shadows on your model. Now here we're also going to spray on her chest, same thing. We're going to highlight all the areas where we know that we're going to be catching light on her chest. And the important thing is that you kind of think of this as almost like a round ball, in this case with her chest. So we want the shadows to be on the bottom, mid-tones to be along the shadows, and then we start highlighting inside of that circle, kind of like concentric circles. And that's how we're going to highlight everywhere, because most body shapes can be represented through a round ball because we have a lot of muscles as well, which have a round shape to them. Now this last highlight step, I'm adding more of that really light green color, and I'm just hitting very small areas with this to create the final highlights. And these are very bright yellowish green for a reason, because I want to really draw attention to the highlights and create a lot of contrast between the darkest color in the shadows and the lightest color in the highlights. And here for her face, I'm simply giving it a full zenithal spray, which is directly from above, where we're only catching the highlights on her forehead and her nose and a little bit on her cheeks. And you can see how we blend that all together. If you're interested in the ionic paints that I used today, they are available on my store at relentlessstormmodels.com. So next up we have her skirt, which is kind of boring in black, but I wanted to add a little bit of color to it, and I decided to spray this like grayish color. It's actually like a purplish gray color, so it's not just gray. It adds just a little bit of color to the model, adding like a lavenderish gray color. Here I'm doing the same thing with the glasses. I did not print them in clear because I think this effect is way cooler if you actually layer a couple layers of white and gray to create kind of like a reflection. And you'll see that in the final reveal. You'll see how nice that turned out. So for her hair, again, her hair is always depicted as black or like a dark green, which I thought is kind of boring. So I decided to spray this purple over the black just to add like a purple sheen to it. And then after I sprayed the purple, I went back over with some greenish metallics to actually add a metallic sheen to it. So it just gives it almost like an interference sheen. It's like a teal bluish green. And the idea is that with the purple and the blacks, it's like a chromatic black kind of effect, and it has some interference to it. And here you can see how I mixed that Black Forest and that Turbo Dork together to create that little bit of metallic sheen. Now she's holding a traffic light in her hand that she seems to have ripped out of the ground and used as a weapon, which is kind of cool. And what I did was I did my gem effect, and if you've seen any of my videos before, this is something I've done in many videos, where I just create a silver backing and then use a transparent paint over top. I didn't like how bright it was, so I tried brushing on some black transparent paint, and it didn't really work out well, so I sprayed over it with the black in an airbrush. If you're interested in the AK Quick Gen that you saw me use for that traffic light, I have that on my store as well. After having the traffic light done, we're moving on to her shoes. There's not a lot of detail painting on this one here. Abe 3D is really, really great for beginners. If you're interested in models and you want something that's simple and not overly difficult and cut to perfection, because his cuts are amazing, definitely check out Abe 3D's Patreon where you can get these designs. So after I painted those shoes black, I'm adding a gloss black, not gloss black, but I'm adding gloss to the black. So I'm just painting gloss varnish over top of that black to finish off those nice shoes. Now I masked off and I did the skin first, and then I didn't want any green to paint over if I could avoid it, so I knew I had to paint this shirt white. Now one of the things I want you to learn about painting white is that when you want to paint white, or if you want to paint black, unless it's very small details, ideally you want to paint in color. So actually, meaning I don't want you to paint in just black or just white. They're good for mixing and shading, but not great for your base coat. So the shirt that I painted there, I'm sorry it's a little out of focus there, the shirt that I painted is actually lavender. That's a very light lavender. It's not gray, it's not white, and the lavender is actually a purplish tone, which means it's a complement to green. So I actually put a complementary color on her shirt as a base coat. It's a very light lavender, a grayish purple, which is really perfect, as I said, because it complements her green skin tone. But because it depicts her as a white outfit here, I decided to just kind of highlight with grays and whites. Again, I'm working my way towards white, but I'm not starting there, because if you start with white, there's nowhere to go except down in the brightness. So you got to start lower and work your way up in brightness with white. And what I'm spraying right now is highlights and shadows, okay? But I'm actually using more violet in here to create the shadows. So the shadows have that violet color, but it's a grayish violet. And then the highlights, I'm actually spraying with pearl gray, which is, again, not white. It's a very light gray. And that's how we can actually create what looks like white without actually painting white. Because, again, if we only painted this white, it'd be really boring and flat. But because we use violets and grays in here, now all of a sudden it looks white, reads white, but it's actually different shades of gray. And that silly putty that I use for masking is a great alternative to the black putty that I used to use in the past. There's the light lavender, as I mentioned, and also the pearl gray, as I mentioned. The camouflage putty I used to use in the past, that black stuff, I've seen other YouTubers use it as well. It often leaves a residue behind, so I stopped using it. Silly putty does not leave a residue behind, and I'm really liking that. So moving on to her face, we have her lips, which we're starting with just a nice red color here. And I'm using a very fine brush here because I want to make sure I stay within the details of the lips that are really well sculpted on this figure. And her lips are a very bright red just because I'm assuming she was at the office and decided to get upset and run outside and grab the traffic light and smash someone's head in. So, I mean, that's what it seems like to me. So she was all dressed up for the office, just enjoying her day, and someone came along and ruined it. Now, for her eyebrows, I actually did a dark green because, as I mentioned before, her hair is often a dark green, so I'm not using black here. I'm actually using that same forest green that we used for the shadows. It's just a very nice dark green for her eyebrows there. So, going on with the story, well, I wonder what happened that she had to, like, go out and get a traffic light and smash someone. Did she catch someone jaywalking, or did someone, like, fox whistle at her or something? Like, tell me in the comments below, like, what's the story behind this scene that she had to grab the traffic light to do damage? Just tell me in the comments. I want to know, like, caption this story. So, anyway, after I used the dark green for her eyebrows, I did use black for her eyelashes. And then I'm using an ivory for her eyes, for the white of her eyes. Now, often, I actually like to paint the white of the eyes first and then frame them with the black eyebrows, or eyelashes, I mean. I don't know why I didn't do that this time, but that's what I did in this case. Sometimes I get a little out of order. Sometimes I'm streaming and I get to talking and I just kind of go through what I'm doing and not really thinking too much. I'm just kind of painting while chatting. Which is what I might have been doing during this point. So if you're interested in my streams, you have to come over to my Patreon at Relentless Storm. So, after I paint the whites of the eyes, I have another really nice step that I like to add, which is this really thin pinkish line underneath the eyes, starting at the corner. And that captures the pink part of the eye. I think that really adds a level of realism, because if you look at someone's eye, it's never just white. Now I'm using different shades of, like, yellow greens to create her green eyes to match, because apparently when she's in her Hulk form, her eyes also turn a beautiful green to match her green skin tone. It would be kind of cool if they changed purple to complement her skin tone, but they chose green, so I had to paint it green. Again, what I'm doing here, I'm putting little tiny striations on her eyes, and it's difficult to see, but what I'm doing is I started with a darker green, added in like yellow striations with little tiny strokes, and then I just rounded it off with a darker green along the edges. Try to create like the edge of the iris, because if you look at an eye, the edge of the iris is always very, very dark, if not black, compared to the part of the muscle of the eye that opens and closes your hole, your pupil hole. So you get some little bit of muscle striations in there, and it's really beautiful with the colors. So after all that, of course, we're going to put our pupils in place, and that is her eyes all done up, looking good. Looking good. Then we're going to add a little bit of gloss onto her eyes and her lips. And if you're interested in this model, as I assemble it, check it out at relentlessstormmodels.com, where you can pick up your own print of this and paint it, or you can head on over to my Patreon and you can learn how to paint it in more depth. And we'll see you guys next time. I want to take a moment to say thank you to my patrons that support my work. If you're interested in some exclusive content, including daily vlogs and how-to videos, so you can get better at this hobby, head on over to my Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to extra content. I have plenty of content coming your way, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on these beautiful sculptures coming soon. I know so many of you have reached out to me on Discord and told me about how my work has helped you and inspired you in creating your own sculptures. So again, I hope that you come back, as I have something to teach you with every one of these models that I paint. I'd like to take a moment to share some information about my website with you in case you're a collector or maybe you're just new to the hobby. Check out my website at relentlessstormmodels.com, where you can browse a growing library of over 600 models to choose from. I also offer DIY kits and paint for those looking to get started in the hobby.